And when you say you work at the jewelry store, what has been your typical schedule?
So my typical schedule is we have a central office, which I start at, which is on Lake Street. And then I start there somewhere around 7:30. And I end up getting my work together and going over to the store somewhere around 9. And then I work the store a good portion of the day, and then I come back to my office to work in the evening.
So how long are your days?
Really long.
Is it 30 to 9 or 10 at night?
Yes, they can be. I take breaks during that time, however.
And how do you usually get to work?
I walk.
And have you always walked
I've always walked.
in all of the years that you've lived?
Well, when my kids were little, I had to take a car
Yeah.
in case I had to pick them up. But since my kids could drive and get around, I've always walked.
And about how far is the distance from downtown to your house?
It's a little over a mile.
I'm going to take you back to April 25th of 2022. Do you remember that particular day?
I do.
And when were you working on that day?
It's probably there between 7 and 8, and I left work at 10.
Just a normal day for you?
Yes.
And did you stay at one location the whole time, or did you go?
Oh, I went back and forth. So I started my morning in our office and went to the store, and I came back to the office.
I'm going to direct you to State's Exhibit 1, which is actually in front of you, and it's taped in front of that. That's actually an Elmo. To your right.
Oh, right.
To your right.
Yes.
And if you want to point, if you could just take a look at it.
Yes.
Are you able to see it?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to just point where the jewelry store is?
Yeah, just, sorry, I have to orient myself here. The jewelry store is here.
Okay. And then you don't have the office and the jewelry store in the same location?
We do not.
Okay. And so where is the office?
The office is here.
And so you ended April 25th, 2022 at the office?
Yes,
And is the office above a restaurant?
it is. It's above Z Merritt's.
Is that the noodle place?
Yes.
And so you decided to walk home?
Yes.
Okay. And do you want to point out where approximately, I know it's probably not on the map, but where approximately your home is?
Okay, this will take me a minute. My home is right here.
So it's on the west side of the
Of the
river?
river, yes.
Okay. Is it near any landmarks?
Well, the university landmarks would be it's near the College of Public Health and the art building, Art West, and the working art building, the visual arts building.
And taking you back to April 25th of 2022, do you remember what the weather was like that day?
It was really cold.
And so can you tell me, using the map, what route you took home that night when you walked home?
So I left my office and went out the door. I went down Iowa Avenue. I usually traverse the Pentacrest. And sorry, I got it there.
Can you put the pull the mic close to your?
Oh, sorry.
There you go. That's okay.
It's hard to look at the top down here.
Yeah.
So I went to the Pentacrest, down East Jefferson, North Madison, and past the IMU.
Did you say past the IMU?
Yes, the Iowa Memorial Union. And turn left right after it to get to the footbridge.
Okay.
And at the footbridge I stopped, put my mittens on and buttoned up my coat.
Your Honor, I don't want to interrupt, but I really am having trouble here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry.
No,
I
it's
hate
fine.
to use it too.
I'll project. thank you.
If you could, maybe
Oh.
just sneak, yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm not used to this. So I went across the footbridge, and then I crossed the street. Normally, I walked the street. I didn't cross the street. I kitty cornered this land here to just shorten it up. It was really cold. I went to the Riverside Drive, and then I made the unfortunate decision to get home faster, so I knew that it was early enough, there were people around, and I went through the Art West building, and then I was assaulted.
And so you said you went through the Art West.
Well, I mean, I went on a boardwalk, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't go into the building, I walked. There's a sidewalk that goes onto a boardwalk.
Okay. What, can you show me what route you would have taken home if you weren't so cold?
Yes, I would have done this. Or I would have done this, which is paved.
Okay.
Oh, this is what I was intending to do, but I got stopped. This night I was intending to do this.
And so that night you were walking and you said the boardwalk?
Yes, there's a boardwalk where you can sit and look at the pond.
Brother, I'd like to show State's Exhibit 7.
And do you have it on your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it should be on your screen, or you can look up here. That's the boardwalk. So that's the side of the building that you walked in.
Yes, that's the side.
And so what happened as you were walking home past the art building?
So as I entered the concrete that enters into the boardwalk, I thought there could be somebody following me. And I got partway onto the boardwalk.
Excuse me, did you say you thought there could be somebody following you?
Yes, I sensed someone was following me at that point.
Okay, what was going through your head at that point?
That I might be in trouble.
And so what do you mean when you say you might be in trouble?
Because I was entering a location where it was not particularly safe and I couldn't turn around and escape in any meaningful way.
And so what happened next?
So I continued to walk and I accelerated and I turned around. I looked directly at the assailant in hopes that if I made eye contact with the assailant, that person might back down.
How did you know somebody was behind you?
I heard something and I sensed something.
Were you walking fast?
I was walking quickly. I sped up the second I thought I was being followed.
Were you carrying anything?
I had a purse.
And what kind of purse was it?
It was a purse that had chain handles and then leather straps.
And was it open?
It was open.
And what side were you carrying it on?
I believe it was my left.
And what was in your purse?
My wallet, money, checkbooks, very few keys. Probably a mask at that time, tissues.
Okay. How much money was in your wallet?
Oh, there was probably over $1,000.
In cash?
Yes.
Okay. And so you testified that you sensed somebody was behind you?
Yes.
You started walking faster?
Yes.
What happened next?
When I walked faster, I turned around as I walked quickly, and I looked at him.
Okay, so when you turned around, what did you see?
I saw a man with a pretty white face, a broad forehead, fairly large nose, a jacket that was red, white, and black with striped.
And was he bigger than you?
He was bigger than I was, and he was accelerating towards me.
Sorry to ask this, but what at that time, what was your height and weight?
5'3", 110.
And so what happened when you turned around?
I started to run as fast as I could, and he caught up with me way too fast.
Did he say anything?
He said nothing.
Did you say anything?
I couldn't get a scream out.
And then what happened?
He tackled me, put his arms around me, and he tackled me like a football player would tackle you.
Was he behind you when
He
you
was
saw
behind me, yes.
And where along the boardwalk do you remember the location?
I think it was past the first set of benches. Just a second, maybe up to where that bench is on there. I'm not sure.
Okay. So he tackled you from behind.
Yes.
Did he say anything at that point?
No.
Did you say anything?
No, I was stunned.
What happened next? What was going through your head when that was happening?
I knew I was going to hit the ground, and I was concerned I hit my head. And so I was concerned about not passing out by hitting my head. So I was trying to fall so I wouldn't hurt myself.
Do you have any health issues?
None.
Do you get seizures?
No.
Nothing?
No.
You're pretty boring health-wise?
I'm pretty boring, and if I had seizures, my husband is a neurologist, I'd know.
So he tackled you to the ground. Did you manage not to hit your head? Do you remember what happened next?
I knew that I hadn't hit my head, and I hadn't hit my teeth, and I hadn't hit my glasses,
How did you know you hadn't hit your glasses?
because I've been wearing glasses all my life, and I know what it's like to be hit in the face and have your glasses pressed really hard against your head.
So at one point, were you on the ground?
I was on the ground.
And where was he?
He was on top of me, behind me, still. He had his arms around me still.
Was he laying on top of you?
Yes.
And what, was he still not saying anything?
He said nothing.
He didn't ask for money?
No,
He didn't ask for anything?
no.
What happened next?
After I realized I was okay physically, then I don't have much recollection at that moment what happened.
At some point, do you remember being on your back?
I do.
Where was he?
He was straddling me on top of me.
And were you looking at him?
I couldn't see him.
Okay. And when he was straddling, did he flip you over at some point?
Yes, because I landed face down.
Okay.
And at some point, which I do not know when that was, I was turned over.
And you remember being on your back?
Yes,
And he was on top of you?
yes.
And what was he doing?
He was strangling me.
And how do you know he was strangling you?
I woke up mid strangulation, and I could feel his hands around my neck.
Were you able to breathe?
I was, because I woke up, and I was protecting my airway. I knew that I needed to make the muscles in my neck taut in order to continue to breathe.
And at some point, did you lose consciousness?
I did, but before that point, my arms were like over my chest. I tried to push up, and when I pushed up, he pushed harder. So
Did you push up? Why did you push up?
I was trying to save myself and get him to get off of me. I thought maybe he would respond and just think he was done.
But he was not done.
He was not done. No.
And so you tried to get him off you. And then what happened?
So then I relaxed because I wanted him to loosen his grip or not tighten it anymore. And then I tried to speak. And I said very, very slowly because I realized as I tried to speak, no vocal sounds come out. So I mouthed the words twice. Please don't hurt me. I will give you anything you want. And I did it twice. And I probably was slower. I remember trying to enunciate because when you can't talk and you're getting strangled, I didn't know. I just couldn't get a voice out. I tried it again to see if I could get a voice out, which I couldn't. And after the second time, I couldn't withstand the strangulation strain.
And so at some point, what's the next thing you remember?
The next thing I remember is I was leaning against somebody must have been on their knees or a lap, and I was just leaning up against someone's lap.
And this person that strangled you, had you ever met him before? Did you recognize him?
No.
He was a complete stranger?
Yes.
And what was going through your mind when you were trying to fight him off and get him off of you?
I thought that if I couldn't protect my airway for much longer, that I might die. The last time I closed my eyes, I thought I may never wake up.
So you thought you were going to die?
Yes.
And so you woke up, you said in somebody's arms.
I think that's somebody's lap.
Okay. And did you know that person?
I did not.
And when you woke up, were you in pain?
Yeah, it hurts. Yes.
What hurt?
When my neck hurt from the pressure.
Were you able to talk clearly?
No.
Did you have pain in your throat?
Yes, it's having a bad, hoarse, sore throat. The neck muscles were very sore.
What about your face? Did your face, you said you were trying to stop from hitting.
Oh, yeah, I was more concerned about my inability to communicate. Words didn't come out. And the right words didn't come out. Like the words I was trying to say.
So would you say you were just confused?
It was confusing, yes, because you don't know why things are not working, and you just sort of don't have the ability to get it together.
And do you remember paramedics coming?
I do.
Do you remember being taken to the emergency room?
I do.
And were you wearing some earrings?
I was.
Everything? And what can you tell me about those earrings?
They're a gift from my husband. They're diamond earrings.
And what is their value?
They're worth about $25,000.
And when you, at some point, did you realize they were missing?
I did not realize they were missing until I was actually in the emergency room.
And was there anything missing from your purse?
Nothing.
Everything was there, cash, credit cards, keys.
Everything was there.
And so what, you were at that ER for a period of time?
Yes.
And then did police officers come and interview you?
Yes.
Took your picture?
Yes.
And then did you go home?
I did.
And who did you go home with?
I went home with my nephew, Charlie Musser.
And in the week that followed or so, did you continue to feel pain?
Yes.
And what was, where was your pain?
Pain in the neck, eye pain, the throat. Speaking was hoarse initially. Your muscles are sore.
And did that continue? Like the pain in your throat and the hoarseness, did that continue?
Yes.
And did you go back to your primary care physician at some point?
I did.
And you said you had pain in your eye.
Yes.
What was that from?
I was punched in the eye.
Do you remember being punched in the
I
eye?
don't.
Did you have a black eye when you
Oh, I had a tremendous black eye, yes.
Did you have a black eye when you left the jewelry store that night?
No, I had no black eye.
But you woke up with a black eye?
Yes.
Do you remember your primary care physician taking pictures of that?
Yes.
I'm going to show you, can you show her State's Exhibit 14?
Do you-
Can she see that?
Which, did you want to use the laptop or the Elmo?
I was going to use the laptop.
Oh,
Okay, it's connected to the same
Okay.
laptop. Do you want to try the Elmo instead?
Yeah. Here, I'm going to show her 14, but then we can go.
All right.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 14 and 15.
yes.
Do you recognize those pictures?
Yes.
What are those pictures of?
Those are pictures of me and my black eye.
Okay. I'm going to show you 16 too, sorry. Do you
Yes.
recognize that photo?
Yes.
And were those photos taken on May 3rd
Yes.
by your primary care physician?
Yes.
And that was about 10 days after this happened?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 14, 15, and 16 and ask to publish them.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, exhibits 14, 15, and 16 are admitted. You may publish at this time. So, counsel, did you want to do it with the Elmo or the laptop?
We did this.
Okay. I only see that. I think you need to drag it over just a little bit more. Here, let me put it on the big screen. You got it.
So that's your left eye.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 14, and then State's Exhibit 15. Is that?
Yes. Yes.
And did your doctor pull your eye out so that she could see the
Yes.
And then 16, that's another view of your eye.
Yes.
And fair to say that that's not what it looked like when you left the emergency room?
That's correct.
It took some time for that to happen.
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Are you finished with the exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cross-examination.
Mr. Rizzo, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo, my name is Jeff Powell. I represent Mr. Younes in this case. You understand that?
Yes.
So I have a few questions. During the attack, you were asked about whether or not, you don't remember actually being punched, isn't that true?
That's correct.
Do you know whether your glasses ever actually came off of your face?
I don't think they were, I mean, they might have moved, but they weren't. I mean, I had glasses on afterwards, so I don't know the trajectory of the glasses from when I fell
Sure.
to when I had them on.
Okay. And so I guess my question is, from the time you lost consciousness and then you woke up, as far as you know, your glasses were still on your face.
I can't say that. I know that my glasses were on my face when I woke up, and they were in perfect shape.
Okay. And that was maybe something you talked about, that you didn't notice there were no scratches on them, there was no damage to them. That's
Correct.
So you don't believe you actually hit your glasses on the pavement, for example?
Correct. And in order to see, I have to have my glasses on.
Fair enough. I do understand that you might not have a perfect memory of, are you stating that you remember exactly how this person was sort of sitting on top of you or straddling you? Do you have a memory of that? Or
I do. It's something I will never forget.
but your testimony is you really couldn't see that person's face. You could see their jacket?
I could see their jacket. I opened my eyes up at one point, and I saw white, which I'm presuming was the white part of his jacket. He was on top of me in a way that he was restricting the view of his face.
I understand. Okay. Is it your testimony that you remember seeing the paramedics arrive at the scene?
It's my testimony that I saw the paramedics. I heard the siren.
You did hear the siren? Do you remember, and if you don't, that's okay, whether or not when you sort of regained consciousness, were the paramedics already there, or?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right. At some point, you agree that you were able to communicate or attempt to communicate with the paramedics as to what had happened to you?
I was able to communicate very poorly.
And by that, you mean you were having trouble with speech, right? You were not able to
Trouble with speech, trouble thinking.
Okay. And then at some point, you remember being put onto the cot.
Yes.
All right. At that point, do you feel like you were able to communicate and tell the paramedics what was going on?
No, my voice was still pretty compromised. It was hard. I did a really good job based on what I was capable of doing, but it wasn't like I'm talking to you.
And I understand. Were you able to, for instance, tell the paramedics or the police officers what had happened leading up to this attack? I mean, were you able to formulate that and say it?
No.
No?
I was not concerned with that. So that question wasn't asked.
Okay. All right. Once you were in the ambulance, do you recall being in the ambulance?
Yes.
At that point in time, you think you were able to describe for whoever was maybe asking what had happened?
Yes, I remember describing that. Once in the ambulance, yes.
Okay. All right.
I also remember when people were asking what happened, I couldn't, prior to the ambulance, I literally couldn't get a word out of my mouth.
Right.
They kept asking, and I was like, I couldn't get the one word strangle out.
Do you remember an officer Billingsley, coming to the emergency room to talk to you?
There was an officer in the emergency room, yes.
Any idea how long after you had been in the emergency room that officer would have shown up?
I have no idea.
Okay. Do you have any idea how long you stayed in the ER that evening before you were released?
I think it was there till somewhere between 2 and 3 in the morning.
Okay. So if you got there between 10:30 and 11, you think you were released by between 2 and 3 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, you were asked about the earrings that you were wearing. during that time, right? And I think you were previously asked about how you feel the earrings were removed from your ears. Do you remember that?
I do.
Tell me about what you noticed and what you think happened with your earrings.
When the police asked me in the emergency room, did he take anything? And I wear very little jewelry. And I looked at the obvious places, which would be my hand, my watch, and a necklace. And then I said, no, I don't think so. And I'd completely forgotten I have earrings. And then I put my hands on my ears and said, oh, no, he stole my earrings. And he stole them in such a way that he took them off.
I mean, what do you mean?
I have a particular kind of back on my earring. It's
Okay.
pretty hard to just rip them out of your ears.
Did you describe it previously as whoever this was really nicely took off your earrings?
Nicely is the wrong, I should not have chosen that word. He was very, he didn't damage my ear, let's put it that way.
Okay.
He could have.
And just so I'm clear, are you stating you didn't actually say he really nicely took
Oh,
off?
I said that.
Okay.
Because I was shocked and amazed
Okay.
because of the violence of the act.
All right. And you're saying now maybe that was the wrong choice of words.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're in court.
But at any rate, the point of what you were saying was that this person did not yank the earrings out of your ears, correct?
That's what I surmised, yes.
Took the time to carefully take something off of them and not injure your ears in any way.
Right.
And he would have had to, I think in your words, he would have to do that twice, right?
That's correct.
And your testimony was that these pictures were about 10 days after the attack?
Yes.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
Any reader?
You have no recollection of anybody taking your earrings off, do you?
That's correct.
Was your hair as long as it is now in April of 2022?
Yes.
Would somebody have seen your earrings from
Far
what
away?
you were wearing?
No. It was, no. Not unless I was laying on my back.
And you don't remember the moment where you stopped being strangled, do you?
No, I passed out.
So the last thing you remember was you're being strangled. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then you woke up and somebody was holding you, but you didn't know.
Right.
Thank you. No further questions.
Any refunds?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You can step down from